Hello, everyone. Welcome to Higher Ed Demand Gen video podcast hosted by Concept 3D. Concept 3D has served the education community for over a decade with our award-winning interactive maps and virtual tours. Improve your campus communications, engagement, and recruitment with our powerful visual communication solutions. My name is Shiro Tori. I will be your host today, and I'm talking from my home in the mountains of Denver, Colorado in Silverthorne. And I am joined by Lauren Landry, who is the Associate Director of Marketing and Communications at Harvard Business School Online. Lauren, thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited. Do you want to start us off with a quick fun fact about yourself?
Yes. Well, what's funny actually about this is that when everyone starts at Harvard Business School Online, part of what they have to do is introduce themselves with a fun fact. So I am like, I was all prepared, which was great. So the fun fact I shared there, which I'll show you here too, is that I'm originally from Maine, but I have never actually cracked open a lobster. Like I've eaten lobster rolls and variations, but like that just, I feel like I'm accidentally the anti, like what a Mainer should be, not having had a lobster. Maybe the day will come. It's a long story. My dad accidentally traumatized me with a lobster as a child. He tried to feed me one that became my friend, and you can see where that spirals. And now I'm older and lazy and don't want to go through the process of eating a full one. But
that's completely fair. My dad had a similar story. He doesn't eat chicken at all, and it's very similar. He was traumatized as a kid, so
okay,
I totally understand. Awesome. Well, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself, your role at Harvard Business School Online, and then also what the school stands for?
Yeah, of course. So just some background. I actually started my career as a reporter, and I was working for a small media company here in Boston, which is where I am sitting, called Boston O. And I was hired to become their first education reporter. So I was actually going from school to school around the greater Boston area, writing about different startups that were coming off of the different campuses, looking at the future of higher ed and what that meant in Boston specifically. I'm in a good city to think about education. But after almost 4 years of doing that, I thought if I'm writing about education, I should go work in education. So I made a transition into that, starting first at Northeastern University, working on their enrollment marketing team. And then now at Harvard Business School Online. So my role is currently focused on organic marketing, which for us means brand messaging, community, social media, and events. There's a lot under that brand messaging bucket, like blogging and content marketing, which is a huge piece. Harvard Business School Online proper, we really leverage the school's motto. So Harvard Business School's motto is to educate leaders who make a difference in the world. And so we do that as well, but we educate leaders who make a difference in the world wherever they are. And that could mean in their career, in the world. We just wanted to build on the great legacy that the school has already put in place, but just be able to reach more learners around the world through our online platform.
Got it. That's amazing. Probably arguably the most famous label and name out there.
There's a well-known brand. Yes.
Yep. That's awesome. And tell us a little bit about your team. How big is the team over at Harvard Business School Online right now?
Yeah, so Harvard Business School Online as an overall division, we recently surpassed our 100th employee, which was great. We were very much in startup mode for a while. I personally sit on a marketing and product management team, which is around 15 people. But my organic marketing team, it's myself and 3 others.
Got it. And does that include the professors as well, the 100 or so?
No.
Okay.
Nope. So we have a content development team, and they actually partner with our faculty to create the courses that are on our platform. But yeah, so we work very closely with the faculty, but we don't count them in our staff list.
Gotcha. Well, tell me a little bit more about organic marketing. What does successful organic marketing look like to you?
Yeah, there are a lot of different channels for that and what that could mean. But I guess the overarching thing that my team is constantly thinking about is how we can meet people where they are, both pre-finding Harvard Business School online, but then also post going through a course with Harvard Business School online and what that means. So I can sort of cover both ends of that. But from the pre-finding Harvard Business School online, particularly in the education space, I think this applies to everyone. It's very rare that someone's going to wake up and say, all right, today is the day I'm going to go get my MBA. There's a very long decision-making process that goes into making that kind of investment and commitment. And so when it comes to content, just using the MBA as an example, we have a program called our Credential Readiness or CORE, and it's designed to help prepare people for the MBA classroom. Okay. And so I'm just going to use a target market just to describe sort of what we do, but we're thinking about, okay, so for the kind of person who might be wanting to prepare for their MBA, what are some things that they're considering at different stages of their decision-making process? So it might just start basically with why are business skills are important, or what business skills do I need to succeed? And we're creating content for that. We're creating blog posts, we're creating downloadable assets like ebooks that might address some of these things. Then maybe their decision gets closer to, okay, I now understand the value of business skills. These are super important. I decide I want to go get an MBA, but then is the ROI worth it? And so we're creating content that might answer questions like 10 reasons you should get an MBA or why you should pursue one. Right. We'll be hosting we host webinars with folks who have gone through our core programs so that they can learn a bit more about how it prepared them. And then we'll actually introduce them to folks who took that program and then went to get their MBA and what they're getting out of that experience. And so that's just a different type of content, right, that we're leveraging to folks. And then maybe they've decided, all right, I'm good, I'm ready to go, I want to enroll in your program to learn more. Then we can offer them testimonials and things. So just from the pre even taking a course, what we're just trying to really think through is what is the decision-making process that someone needs to go through to get from, is this something that I'm considering to all right, I'm ready to make that next step and advance my career, and how can we help them through content answer every question? So that might be blog posts, that might be infographics, that might be videos, testimonials, webinars. And so that's what my team really thinks about every day, is just creating different types of content to help move people along their journey and just provide value to them.
So you really have a full funnel strategy just within organic marketing. Yeah. Right. Okay. Because I run the marketing department at Concept 3D, and a lot of our organic content, we definitely have a funnel block where it becomes more of a lead generation aspect, but you're really creating the whole funnel just through organic marketing. We're trying. I mean, it's definitely hard to convert organic traffic. So that's what we'll do, things like downloadable assets. But even when we're doing that, we're hoping that we're providing value to folks. So yes, we might be getting your email so that we can send you more information. But our hope is that the assets that we're giving you help you, learn a new insight or build your skills, help you on your decision-making process, that you're still getting value out of that piece of content as well. Got it. And I know you were talking about different stages in the funnel. Is there something that's really a channel specifically that's working very well right now at the very top right now? Our blog has been the biggest driver of mostly to organic search to the overall marketing website, because we're covering, runs the gamut from how to read and understand a balance sheet, because we've got, courses that can help you understand financial statements, to traits of successful entrepreneurs. So we're publishing on a consistent basis on our blog, and that has been a huge driver of growth for us over the last few years. That's amazing. I imagine you're doing a lot of keyword research as well to see which keywords have more, SERP possibilities, search engine results page possibilities. You're looking at domain authority, all these things as well. We are, yeah. And we're seeing too, it's been published out there, what's resonating with folks, what other questions, even too, when you're looking at keywords, you can also very easily see people might also have this question. And so when we're creating content, we're thinking, how can we address the keyword and what people are searching for, but how can we also
preemptively answer some other questions that they might have about the same topic. And so we're trying to create very, very thorough content for folks to help them make the decisions that they need to make.
Got it. Okay. That's amazing. I'm wondering, how has Harvard Business School Online really grown their student base? I know in our previous conversation, you told me, I don't remember the exact numbers, but you went from pretty much here to up here in a matter of years. And I'm just curious how you've really grown your student base or your online student base.
Yeah, our first course went live in 2014. So, in the grand scheme of higher ed, we're, that's still pretty young. And so that's why I was sort of saying we've been in startup mode for a bit, but we are reaching over 130,000 learners worldwide. And so, yeah, we've grown a lot over the last few years. And, the question of how we got to there, organic marketing is just one piece. We also have, we have a great product. So I will say our courses are, I know later you're going to ask me for what advice I have. So I've got some points around that and just really knowing your product and understanding, how you offer value. So there's that piece, amazing faculty. People really want to learn from these leading business experts, but beyond that, we have also a lot of other marketing channels that are working on a day-to-day basis, from paid marketing and email marketing. I'm not addressing those because I don't oversee, that's not my domain expertise, but we've put a lot of work into getting to, that large learner base that we have.
You're at 130,000 now. That's amazing.
That's just the number two I'm riffing off the top of my head,
It's gone up twice now.
There, yeah.
That's awesome. Are you also managing the social media aspect as well? I know sometimes that falls in organic, doesn't fall in organic. So I'm just curious.
Yes, a member of my team, does oversee all the Harvard Business School online social channels.
Got it. And are you on some of the newer platforms as well? And
we've experimented, like if you're, I don't know if you're considering like TikTok, newer, we've got the handles reserved. I can't say that we've dipped our toe fully into the water yet, because too, I think what's, I'm sure hard for a lot of higher ed institutions is that our audience is so wide ranging. And so, we've got anywhere from, particularly with our core program that I talked about, those folks who are, maybe recent graduates, those who are earlier in their careers, to then we have programs like strategy execution, which is, more for mid-senior level executives. And so for us, we want to do more experimentation on our social media channels. Some of these new platforms, we try to just be conscious of not just, jumping in to jump in. We want to make sure it's the right channel for our audience. So we're pretty much still on the primary social media, like Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, those.
Got it.
But we're experimenting. We've got some ideas in the works for other channels.
Gotcha. So you're really prioritizing your audience, right? You know your audience really well, the age groups where they go for information, and you're prioritizing which channels to market through organically, given that information. Love it. I love that. I'll just move on to a slightly different topic here. I know in our previous conversation, we talked about engaging community, and I haven't talked to too many people who run just an online school, right? And so I'm wondering, when I think community, I always think in person, like next door neighbor kind of situation. How are you able to create an engaging community for an online school?
Yeah, I love to talk about this stuff. So this really gets into the post-program piece that I was talking about that my team's also responsible for. And so we actually have something called the HBS Online Community. It's the community for the community, but it launched just a few years ago. And the goal for us was that we wanted to provide online learners with the chance to connect offline. So this is where we sort of started our community mission, but we currently have 34 chapters around the world. Each of those chapters are run by either one or two past participants of HBS Online, meaning that person took at least one course with us, and they are responsible for hosting events. Those events, pre-pandemic looked different than they do now, but it's been amazing because pre-pandemic, folks were meeting. Our learners were getting to meet in person all around the world, doing things like book book clubs they had. They did a tour of the NASA space station. They've done networking meetups. They've done a lot of different stuff. But then with the pandemic, we also had some organizers who stepped up to the plate and decided to host virtual events. And so they were hosting webinars on things like, career advice and career tips, and doing some other things. So that's just one element of our community. Some other aspects, we have closed networking groups. So on LinkedIn and Facebook, we provide opportunities for folks who've taken at least one course with us to join those groups, and so that they can share, they can ask questions. Maybe they have industry related questions. They can share excitement over, just finishing a course with us, whatever it might be. So we've got groups there. And then we also try to find ways on our own to activate our community. And so that might look like conferences. We do have an annual conference that we hold called Connect, and it's designed as a day for learning and networking and inspiration. And so our past participants will get to meet faculty, they get to interact with each other based on the year. Sometimes that's in person on campus, sometimes that is online. So it really depends.
Right.
But we will do that internally. And then we also do something called the Community Challenge, where we partner with a nonprofit and we ask them to give us a business challenge that they're facing. We then take that business challenge to our community and, ask them to solve it for the nonprofit. So they'll do, it's like sort of a fun little competition where over the course of a few months, chapters will meet, they'll come up with solutions to this nonprofit's problem. And they'll have time to pitch they get to pitch their solutions to the nonprofit themselves, have some live interaction with executives who work for that nonprofit. The nonprofit will pick a winner. That winner comes with, we'll write about them on the blog and publicize it. It's really bragging rights and goodwill. But
That's
it's just
amazing.
Yeah, it's been great to see our community help others in need.
How do the chapters organize the challenges? Is it like each chapter joins the challenge and then they compete against each other, or do members who want to be interested in your whole community base, do they group up together?
It can be either way. Yeah, usually it's by geography, just because that's currently how our chapters are set up, but it's all voluntary. So anyone who decides to lead a chapter, they've all volunteered to do this for us. And then they'll usually reach out to their chapter and ask for, is anyone interested in working on this challenge? And then the people who raise their hand, they'll set up, meetings with each other. At this point, it's been virtual. So over the last year, they've been working virtually. And they come up with these really amazing presentations. And the nonprofits have gotten a lot of value out of that, which has been amazing for us to see.
That's really cool. So it sounds like you've effectively created a centralized community, like the groups that you've created, but then also created more micro communities just within your student and alumni base.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a myth in online education that you don't get the same networking opportunities. And I still think, an on-campus experience is different than what we're offering you, but we're trying to recreate as many opportunities for you to be able to connect with folks despite being in an online program.
Got it. I know you briefly mentioned how obviously with COVID and the pandemic, things have changed. How's that affected Harvard Business School online? Are you seeing more students, more enrollment, less?
It's been different depending on where we've been at in the pandemic. I definitely, at the beginning of this, there was a lot of people were like, okay, now I'm stuck at home and I have this time that I maybe didn't have before, or I'm nervous that I might stagnate in my career, or people's industries were changing overnight. And so we definitely saw an uptick in learners, who were, wanted to make sure that they were keeping their skills sharp or taking the time that they had at home to learn something new at the beginning of the pandemic. Now I would say though, a lot of higher education institutions have realized over the last 2 years that if they didn't have an online model, or maybe it wasn't a priority of theirs, they needed to make it a priority. So I will certainly say too, competition has increased over the last 2 years, which, obviously has had an impact on us too, but it's just us needing to be, we've kept trying to find ways to deliver value. So things like we've created free lessons for folks. So if they can't maybe pay for a course, they can still experience with the learning platform is like, and take a quick 15 to 45-minute free lesson with us. It's just been experimenting over the last few years of how we can keep standing out amongst the competition, but I don't know, we're in good shape.
It sounds like you're doing a really, really great job.
It's all team. I can't just say it's me, but
right. No, I mean that to your team, obviously,
yes.
and the general whole Harvard Business Online. Great. Well, I just wanted to also ask you, do you have any advice for other marketers who are in specifically the online school space?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess just as a general advice, one, I've got two pieces of advice. The first piece is really just making sure, like, being very clear about who your audience is, talking to your audience when you get the chance, and figuring out how you can deliver value. I think marketers often forget to put their audience first and forget to find, treat everyone like, not as a number, and make sure you're helping them. And I think that's just, something that's worked well for us, and thinking about where they might be in their career, where they might be in the world, and making sure we're really serving them and creating value for them. So that's just, I mean, that's not specific to online, but that's just something I would share with any marketer. And then two, just being very clear. I guess more for online, this is really anyone, but like being very clear about your differentiators. Because I think, as I said, we've had a lot of competition over the last couple of years emerge, but I'm still very clear on our brand pillars, which are, we offer an active, social, case-based learning experience, and we educate leaders, make a difference in the world wherever they are. Like, no matter what competition comes up, I still know our brand pillars. I'm very clear. Everyone in the organization is very clear. We know what differentiates us from other folks. And so I think too, just really making sure that you know what you stand for, how to stand out in a crowded market. Some people sort of just dive, right in without doing the work of actually, like, what's our brand messaging? What are branding, the pillars? Right. So that's important.
Got it. You listed like 4 really cool things you're doing to engage the community. Is that something you also bring to the forefront, like early on when potential students are interested in your school?
We do. I mean, one thing too, I guess I didn't mention, is that our community is also open to anyone. So it's not just to folks who have taken a course through HBS Online. If someone wanted to attend an event that's, hosted through our community, they have the opportunity to do that and learn more. So we do want to make sure that folks know that when you take a course with us, the learning doesn't end when your course does. We still have opportunities for you after. We have opportunities for you before too. So however you want to engage with us, whether it's through reading blog content, interacting with us on social, taking the course, or after, we're here for people in their lifelong learning journey, sort of wherever they are.
Got it. I'm hearing you're keeping a lot of your information open so that, whether you're a student, not a student, alumni, you can all be a part of the Harvard Business School online process.
Yeah, we just want to stick true to our mission. So wherever you are in your career of the world, we've got something for you, and we can help you no matter where you are.
Got it. Thank you so much. That's amazing. It was really great to have you on today. I really liked your insight. The community stuff was amazing. First time hearing it. And it was a great conversation. Thank you. Thanks. Where can some of our listeners find you?
If you want to connect with me personally, I'm on Twitter. My handle is @Landry, Laur Landry. But if you'd like to connect with HBS online, which you definitely should, we are on all major social media networks, but also at online.hbs.edu.
You heard it. Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today.